I literally have no idea what I'm going to talk about. We'll see how this goes. See if I get more scattered or, um, I don't know. It seems like it's just like a lot of just little things. One of the things, I got all my stuff set up because I'm going to do these paintings for my daughter. She has these, it's not like my normal style or something, but the kids are always picking out stuff that they want painted that isn't necessarily my style. But what it's fun to do that is to imitate someone else's and look at how they do their, you learn a lot doing that. You know, if you're trying to learn to paint, it's a really fun way to, try a lot of different kinds and styles. And, it's so unlikely you're going to be able to make your painting look exactly like the one you're looking at. But while you do it, you learn a lot. Especially if you do ones of certain colors you like, certain color schemes that really stand out to you, or if certain styles and stuff, and it will really help you develop your own. But, try all different ones. But anyway, so I had that set up. And she's kind of really abstract. She's one of those minimalist, millennial minimalist. Like stuff they created. And then when you see like how far back it goes and the step down, like, oh yeah, we just want them to be minimalist. Yeah, let's make it stylish because pretty soon they're going to own nothing and they're going to have to be happy. And they know like this is traumatic for all of us to keep losing stuff. And definitely there was trees across the road when I went yesterday and water across the road. And you tell somebody had to come in and cut the big tree to get through the road. But that must have been the day before that. I don't know. And we just have bumper to bumper storms here. So, and you know what I was really thinking about with that too, is I'm driving and man, the drive to get the windshield was so stressful, but the ride home was so much more relaxing. But it's so weird, and I noticed this last year, I think, or in an earlier snowstorm this year. I swear it was last year. Everything is just running into everything else, like all time, like time and relevance and stuff is just kind of melting away or something for me. I don't know how to explain what's happening. Like, I'll keep just trying to say little things. So if it's happening for somebody else, they'll be like, oh, okay, so that's happening for me too. You know what I mean? Because it's just weird. It's hard to explain. It really does make you feel. And I think this is why they wanted to label certain people who were crazy and stuff. Like they could have taken those schizophrenic, people. And they probably do. That is probably one of the draws why they worked so much in asylums and stuff, because that is where their first pools was the prisons and asylums. I mean, right now, I swear to God, them flash freezing the homeless who they know have no family or something, because who's going to be out there like that if you don't have anybody? They overfill the fucking emergency shelters. So there's nowhere for these people to go because, who knows? They're probably just had empty cots. These people are so fucking evil. And then flash freeze them and, drag them off to some lab and medically unthaw them. And then, you could wipe their mind. Like, there's so much. Oh my God, when you know how much they have done and what these people are capable of and what their focus is. And it's never ending. Like this stuff just comes to me and comes to me and comes to me. And I know it is them telling me. They've been telling me since I was a kid. It's just so crazy. I had no idea to the extent when they were telling me what they were telling me. And I know, that it is part of my my destiny, my my life path. Like, yeah, what's really crazy is how much of my life I lived up to this point, and that was like the precursor to my life. Like now my life is going to start. Like it's so weird. And even this is going to be kind of strange, because even in my house, like I walk around and I'm like, oh my God, my house looks like a fucking movie set. It's too perfect. Like it trips me out. It's like, oh my gosh, this place. And I can't believe I created this place. And then it's like, but I didn't never, there's nothing I do by myself. We are all driven by somebody else and a whole group. And then I just had all these revelations that keep coming about the higher self and this connection. And the more you transform, like, it is it's really trippy, because it is like, it's like you have access to your future self. It tells you everything you need to know if you want to listen. And it is, in that people feel like their God is, out to get them. Why would you do this to me, God? Why? But when you change your perspective, then you begin to realize, oh, it's not happening to punish me. Going through this crisis is giving me opportunity to grow and to expand, to learn from the experience. And so when you start approaching it, it is like a video game. It's like you start approaching each experience to level up, level up, level up. Which, by the way, yesterday after I had my revelation on these songs, it kept being like a certain message, but it was kind of, and they do this to me all the time. Like I'll want a certain thing, and then I'll want a confirmation in the physical world of something I want. Give me what I want, tell me what this, tell me that. And they aren't like, they tell me it's a need to know. Like, they tell me what they decide. Well, they know because I'm just a game player and I want more. And so there's a lot of stuff that they don't tell me, like which space is going to fall, how many spaces down or whatever. It's just like, it's the journey. It's what happens in between. That is what you got to get into. The focus. It isn't just because as you, like when you're manifesting your dreams, your goals, and you see them up ahead, well, there's things that have to happen to move you into that space. So there's experiences to prepare you for your dreams, for your goals. And so it's a process to get you there, especially if you're dreaming big. If you're going big, you have to yourself grow. This is what people just don't get about manifesting, that things don't just come like, it isn't like a genie in the bottle kind of situation. A true manifesting your life journey, your life path. And it all has to do with also listening to your guides and stuff. But it is seeing your path ahead, and then you start your journey. You start going in the direction. And to me, how I see it, because I'm always in this communication that's clear to me, is that they show me, like, as my healing part began, then there's a whole part, because it's multi-layered for me, how it went down. And I know that there's so many people who think, oh, they're awake, so that's it. And it isn't. Like, the awake is the realization of this reality and waking your conscience up to question things. But you have a whole soul in there that's waiting to heal. And this is why this process is occurring. That's why all these souls are jumping on board, because, this is the first time in, the galactic soul. Like, this is the first time, from what, mostly everybody is always saying this. So, that this has never been done before, where the planet is going to ascend and the souls are staying on it for this reset. So that is why I think it is about becoming consciously aware, because there could be a part of this process where there's some sort of attachment from this physicality. And without your awareness of your consciously aware spiritual connection, You may think that you're dead and, leave the game or something. You may not realize. And that's why I think that they take a lot of people who become super disoriented. And but I don't know. See, this is all just conjecture. Like, I'm not sure if that is, but I just always feel like there's some sort of part where we have to be consciously aware. And that's why I say, like if something were to happen to me here, to me, it would just be my separation from this reality, stepping into the next game, the next play, and then I would know other people would be coming, but each person has their own thing. And I don't even know if that is going to be how this separation occurs. I don't know. There's so much for us to see, but that is why, we all have to become more spiritually inept. Is inept the other, I don't know, in depth, more spiritually in depth or something. But anyways, so, you get what I'm saying. That's why I try and get people to realize, and what has just blown my mind. Just there's several things, but how detached people really were from what was real, and how attached they were to the artificial. Like that has blown my mind. And the other thing is not realizing that people didn't have an awareness of this communication, like they're disconnect. It is like, man, it is like these individuals, and trying to get them to realize they're not just individuals, that there's a whole thing going on here. And I don't know, it's weird. It's kind of trippy, but kind of creepy too. But anyways, to me, when you see the goal, because on mine, when it went through, because at first it was like just having to save myself, because mine was a traumatic brain injury. So mine was, just my whole life was upside down for a few years. And that took me a while to get oriented, and that's why when I meet people who have brain injuries, I have so much compassion, because people never think you have anything wrong. You look completely normal, but everything is a struggle. Your processor is just like, it's not working right, and you're trying to process the world, and you're disconnected, like from memory and all sorts of things. It can deregulate people's moods. Like it is, but people think, well, you look normal. And then most people who knew you before, they just don't really like you as much. Like there's something different. It's not the same. And it's not necessarily they don't like you. They just don't know you. It truly is like a rebirth of another person. Like it's weird. Like it tripped me out a lot of times, thinking like I was in a coma. I never really left the hospital. Like I can't even start thinking about that, because it will start tripping me out. I'll start going there and be like, oh my God. But anyways, so then after that, I had different layers of how it went down, because once I got over just having to try and regroup and stuff, and then I was getting too comfortable in shitty relationships, it was just like, and too codependent, too needy of not willing to save myself. I needed help. I needed help. I was like, somebody's got to keep me on their life preserver, is what it kind of feels like. And then so I had to go through all of that part, and so that there was a lot of painful stuff. When you're giving so much to a relationship and you are not happy in it, you're dissatisfied, you're just like, this is not, but you feel like kind of like duty, kind of like oh fuck, we got all these bills, this and that, and oh my God, is it really worth it? Just make the best of it. And he'll work his shit out. He'll do better, and, but, even when he left, which was really shocking and sudden to me, especially because he made such a big deal about wanting to work it out and make our relationship better and stuff like that. But, he told me he was choosing alcohol over marriage. I was like, that's choice. I've surrounded myself with a lot of people who have made that choice. So But anyways, that was like my big one right there. That was because and see, when I talk about like you had to go through this part to get to the next part. So if I hadn't done that other part, this next part I had to do, I wouldn't have been ready. So that's what I'm saying. It's a step. It's a process. You can't just skip around and jump around. You have to go as they show you. And you have to disconnect from the 3D and the spinning out in your mind of the what's going on there and connect over here to really get on your path and recognize, because I'm not even kidding you, like the communication and stuff is crazy. There are so much times where I feel like it is my older self, my more advanced self, my future self is just right up there. She's always telling me, she's just right up there, like, hey, like she's always trying to show me which way to go. And everybody can get that connected. I know they can. And, we just haven't been taught. And if, some of us who, can get labeled as crazy don't speak out about how to do it, then people aren't going to be able to learn how. And there's a lot of people who are all awakened, who haven't even started their healing. I've seen so many spiritual people pulling off the TikTok and stuff because your spirit, this is for your spirit to heal. This isn't just so you wake up and realize what this reality is. And so when I got to the next part, like it was like the rug was pulled out from under me. And that was, that's where you're knocked all the way back. It's like you are taken back to the first domino that ever fell in your life. You go all the way back. And then you have to try and, figure out what the fuck just happened. That's going to make me start crying. That was really cool how they showed me that too. Man, that was emotional. So then, once you get knocked back, that is when you get all the way back to your, like the beginning of your pain. And then once you get back there, and it's all in the questioning. It's not just questioning reality, it's questioning you, because you are your reality. You are the creator of your reality. So you have to question you the same way as you question reality. And so, it's the micro macro of this situation. And so when you get back to the beginning domino, then you start questioning, like, what am I doing here? How did I get here? You may experience like reliving certain situations, where you start re-experiencing traumatic situations. And don't shut it out. Don't close it off. Don't run and get, a beer and, call somebody and find out, your friend who's always got a crisis, always got a drama. And you're going to call her, see what's going on, so you don't have to think about your own shit. You want to think about your own shit. This is your opportunity. This is your gift from the universe. And so how you do that is, you sit with it. It has just been so beneficial to me to be able to be in isolation through so much of this process. And so to me is you sit and you need time to yourself. And some people find that in nature. Some people find that, weekend retreat. Some people, like, it's all different things. To me, I have, it's like the generosity of the universe, the gift, this is really like the elite lifestyle, is to be able to have your own space and your own processing, and especially through this hard, trying time. At times it's lonely, but at other times I'm so thankful. I think the thankfulness outweighs the loneliness by such a huge percent. The loneliness would be, an eighth of the pie, and the rest of it is, gratitude and joy and, experience and all of that kind of stuff. Which yesterday on their songs, it was just so trippy because, like I said, sometimes I'll want something different, and then they don't give me what I want. And I've gotten used to it, and I'll just, converse with them. And then I've gotten as, okay, so you're not giving me what I want, but you're giving me what I need. And so I pay attention. And so one of the things, something just crossed my mind. I had turned on this tarot yesterday, and a lot of them, I can't even listen. Like, I don't know what it is. I can't, it's like, it sounds like fingernails on a chalkboard or something to me. And there was something that's like, this message is not relevant to me. And so it just made me think, because I try and make sure I don't run from what they're trying to tell me. But, because I want to grow, like I've seen the benefit of this process. And so now, I want to help other people see the benefit of it. But, when they were doing those songs and stuff, and then at first I was just kind of like, I'm just not in this mood. Like, what is this? And then another one, and I was like, okay, what are y'all trying to say here? And then, I think on the car ride, I got 2 or 3 of them. And then I came in and I started doing my stuff, and I couldn't think, like everything was just, the sounds and everything is just weird to me. And so I decided to go back to the music, and then it was like the same kind of thread. And then when the one came on, and it all of a sudden clicked, I was like, oh, I get what you're saying now. Like, how many days and times and things that you were trying to tell me this, and now I fucking get it. I was like, oh my God, I just started crying. It felt so good to suddenly get it. And then they changed the music. As soon as I got it, the music totally changed. And not only did it change, it went into dance, like celebrate. So I started just dancing. I was like, oh my God, it was like a celebration. But, it is a process to get there, because there's a lot of people through their healing, you become resentful and angry at your guides. And they're really trying to help you. Like, they know the benefit of this because it's already done. So they're trying to show you the way. And so, once I got to where I was like knocked down in all my dominoes and go back. And so you go back, and then it depends on how you look at it. In a life review, you look at it from other people's perspective. And to me, that is something that I always have just done naturally, is look at things from another person's perspective. But that doesn't mean that I have always done what they would have preferred. But I've always tried to see things from, every interaction. I try the best I can, but sometimes you're caught up in your own emotions, and you've got very limited perspective because you have not lived anyone else's life experience. All your perspective is based on your life experience. So you can never truly try and get, somebody else's pure perspective. So somebody else's perspective is always going to be a little different, but it is always, I think, good to, acknowledge. But in the life review, when you go in and you watch or read those stories about near-death experiencers, and the ones, where else? I think Dolores, I've heard it so many times, like, about the life review. Like, you start really getting into like spiritual books and stuff. And I don't mean like the new age guru kind of spiritual books. I'm talking about like, the path of the spirit. Like, when people are talking about like what happens when they die and come back, that to me, the other things is more about lifestyle or something. I don't know. I don't read all those new age. I already had my spiritual connection. I don't like to go in and read somebody else's. I don't know. I just don't align with it. I never have. When the last ones that I read were back when Shirley MacLaine, and somebody else just told me about that they had read the Celestine Prophecy back then, and it made such an impact. So I was like, oh, who wrote it? And then they said that guy. It's like, what in the hell reality did I come from? There's got to be someone else from my reality. It is so weird. When like, I know Marianne Williamson wrote it because it made such, it was so, that's how I even knew who she was, and it made such an impact on my life. But back then is when I read those kind of books. Then, I read a lot of self-help books, and everybody thought I was so weird. But I found them fascinating, that you could try and understand and I was fascinated by all relationships. I was always looking at relationships from the time I was a kid. I was questioning my relationship with my parents, my relationship with my siblings, my parents' relationships with friends. Like, that's just how I was processing. Where, at this point in my life now, I feel like, I was programmed for this. Like, I'm not kidding. And I totally, like, how I see things now is like, almost to the point where it feels like an AI programmed being, you know what I mean? Like, seriously, you're on a script and stuff, and it's all just, it's in you. It's how you make yourself feel more better, because it is scary not knowing what's ahead, but it makes it not scary when you know that somebody is holding your hand, even though you can't see. They're taking you, and you can trust them. And you don't have to control it. You don't have to make and force things. Things will happen. Things will play out. Things will, you just listen to your guides, they'll always tell you. And so, when you get through the one part, you go back on all the dominoes, you start going through. And if you can look at the perspective and start, you don't have to understand your parents' lives or whatever, but the beginning people who hurt you, you can see that they were hurt themselves. That it wasn't like they were trying to hurt you. They didn't know how to do any better. They didn't know how to do anything different. They were just, trying to make it themselves. And so you get an empathy. You start to be able to forgive and be like, oh, so you start looking at it not from a wounded child, but you look at it more from adult perspective of having some life experience and knowing that you've hurt people's feelings and not on purpose. And so it gives you more perspective of being able to see, see them through older adult eyes rather than child's eyes. And so those to me, but each person is their own. Their own traumas, their own situation that they have to heal. And there's no burden of time. It is your process. To me, going through that, but I had, been healing a lot of that stuff all the way back when I was reading the self-help books. So, there's a lot of stuff I didn't stuff. There's a lot of stuff, I'd tell anybody. I was always just chatterbox, and I would tell anybody. I wasn't like hiding. I don't think I've ever been hiding myself. I think I've always been out there, and I'm not always accepted because I'm just out there. And so I get called crazy and weird and stuff all the time. So then when I got through that part, then you get to, and yours could come jumbled, like everybody's can come jumbled, but in my layers, then you start seeing what you did. So what you did to hurt others. So once you can forgive who hurt you, then you start seeing how you hurt others. That's the hard one to me, but everybody has their own thing. But when you get to that part of having to forgive yourself, you're just really hard on yourself. People are so hard on themselves. And I think it's kind of been in our training, in our indoctrination, to just keep us beat down. And so, that is part of, it's like so many layers because there's so much indoctrination. There's so much lies to this reality. So in all of that, that's what I'm saying. Like, man, some of these people have a lot. I think that is why some of this stuff they're healing and waking up to, even though they're not fully awake to this reality. Because, man, it is a lot to go through all of this stuff at once. And as I said, some people, their life is going to turn upside down. And that is going to lead to a lot of suicide, especially getting into the part of, because the vibration is going to be where you have to be healing yourself. You have to look at things like the energies coming in from the sun and stuff to bring these energy into to like, yeah, it makes the messages, I don't know how to explain it, but the energy promotes you to have to look at things. Like, you can't get away from it. And the universe is going to keep making things happen. So you have to look at certain things. Once you look at it and you see it and you process to the point where you've healed it or whatever they want you to do in your process, then you can move into the next one. Sometimes you have a break in between. And so you'll have a break where, you just process this really hard thing. You're just exhausted. You feel like, oh, healed now. I'm so much better. Everything's great. And then you'll be going along for a couple weeks or a couple months. And then all of a sudden it's like you just run into a wall. It's like, what? We gotta do this again? And so, it's like there's a lot to the process. And that's why you can't get down on yourself or think you're not doing it right, because it's a huge process. And so, when you get to the part about looking at yourself and you being the bad guy in different people's lives and the different people you've hurt, and then having to forgive yourself. Some people, go and ask for forgiveness for the other people. Some people, make, penance or, repent or whatever. So you, what is that word? When you, that's not it. But when you go in, you try and do something good to make up for the things that you done bad. So it all depends, and your guides will tell you, you don't have to ask anyone else. You just have to sit with yourself. So you have to find your own space where you have that, where you can be calm and relaxed and not have all the interference, even a lot of energy. Even if you're in a home and you've got like fucking 8 people there and maybe some teenagers, maybe some toddler. Oh my God. Like, it would be hard to get into your own energy. Like, well, I would say one of the places that is a good one, it would be a bathtub. If you got the water filled and stuff, because water is like, the same as with your with the blood. With, I know some with that melanin in the blood, but the pineal gland and the hair being an antenna and stuff, like the same way that transmission occurs, then water is also a carrier of energy, so of messages. And so you can go into the bath, get your room set up, like get the smells that you want, get the lighting that you want, get it a really relaxed, and tell everybody to stay away from the bathroom for 40 minutes or something. And then go in and, after you get your whole mood set, then really go in and relax and just open your mind, and one thing is you can ask questions like, ask a question. And then just relax and think about, how warm the water feels on your body and how your body becomes more relaxed, and just focused on that. And then you'll hear messages start popping in and question or answers to your questions. And it could come in pictures or something like that. But, as you're processing, like I would say it all the time to them, like, give me clarity, show me what it is I'm supposed to see. Am I not seeing what I'm supposed to see? And that is where, they'll use music and stuff like that. And, And then when stuff clicks, they will celebrate with you. They get really super excited. And so then, everybody has to figure out their own technique. But, it's really important in the process, I think, is to have time in that communication so you can really be healing this stuff. Because, you have to learn to accept yourself, just like you were able to forgive your parents or grandparents or something. Even if yours was a pervy old creepy grandpa, who had access to you, and your parents didn't protect you, and your sick grandpa, who was such a creep, and but something made him creepy, and it probably was somebody doing it to him when he was a little kid, and he never had anybody help him, never had any counseling, never had anybody, tell him right from wrong, grew up in a house, like, so, he had issues, like, back in the day, that they didn't talk about stuff, like, life was very much more cut off, like, from your feelings, like, they didn't want people to show any or something. Like, you weren't allowed to have them. I don't know. There's weird stuff. Like, when you watch the old movies and stuff, it's just weird. But, anyways, so in that process, of learning to forgive others, because it's like, for they know not what they do. This place is the learning center. So they go and they do that, and you're playing your part by giving this part of yourself to this soul. And then when they go, to their life review, and they see and experience the process through your eyes, then it gives them a new insight in their soul, to help their soul expand, to become better. So it's a whole process that we do together as souls, and we as humans get all caught up in the trauma and stuff. But when we become spiritual beings, and we realize, oh, this is just a game, this is nothing's really happening, and that's why we have these evil people, trying to pull energy using these rituals and stuff like that, because they know that's real. It's all the poor, other people who don't know it's real. And so anyways, in that process, after you learn to heal yourself and love yourself, like, it'll be a process, and it can go for a while, because it depends on all the things that you're holding on to, or in how many shitty things you did. Because every time that you had an opportunity, you made a choice. And if you made a choice to be a dick to somebody, then it's going to come back to haunt you. And that is what happens, like, in a life review. That's how you learn from it. But this is happening now in life. So you get an opportunity to live through it and then heal from it right here and now. So you're going to get, like, the same kind of thing, where it's going to come into your mind, and those are the ghosts. Those are the hauntings. Those are the past coming back to get you. And people think because something happened before, it's gone. It's not. And, and I have awareness of that. So I think about things before I do them on a certain level that other people do not even consider. And that's one of the things that has so tripped me out. And so, 444. And so when they are, they think that they're getting away with something, a lot of people think they've gotten away with something, and depending on all your stuff. And that is where, a lot of people are going to hit roadblocks, because it is going to be very challenging to get over some of the stuff that they have done, because it was a choice. And it's going to become really clear to them, that was them making a choice. And plus it has to go at the different levels, because you won't understand everything until you go through. So we see, everything has to go like that. And then once you get to a certain part, then they start, like, directing you into building yourself. So then you're building yourself. Then they start showing you the path of where you're going as you're building yourself, because it's what interests you. It's what they bring towards you. It's all of this stuff so that you start figuring out who you are and you start building yourself up, which is a different character than you had built up before when you were playing the game the other way. So it's like this rebirth. It's like this phoenix coming out of the ashes, because, everything else was the fire before. And so then when you transform yourself and you start building yourself up, then they start, showing you the way that you're going, where you're headed. And it's making a choice if you're going towards the light or you're going towards the dark. And the dark is running out of room. So, people can keep running from the light because the light's going to hurt. Yeah, depending on your wounds that you carry, the light's going to hurt because we will see them. But in staying in the dark, the room is going to pretty soon be filled with light. So you won't be able to be in there and be hidden anymore. You're going to have to face yourself. And that is where people are going to feel really backed up in a corner. And they're going to feel like they're just going to have to kill themselves. And how all this stuff is going to go down, who knows? I mean, the fucking, maid could still be available. And people, I don't know. I swear to God, who knows? Like, if we're going to go through another fucking another year, like, is 2023 going to be just like this? Since 2020, maybe it's just going to go on and on like this, just basically having to stay safe. I don't know. I don't know. It is so wacky. There's just, that we have the earth stuff, like the earthquakes, the volcanoes, all of the earth, settling and moving around. And then the sun burst, because this is a reset. It's a cataclysmic event. And that is where, like those NASA scientists that was over there crying, they're not telling everybody, you've got to find out, it's the end. And because, and they put it in Netflix movies and stuff. And because it is a cataclysm. But if people don't have that spiritual awakening to self, then they will think this is the end of the world, And it's not, but you can't get people to hear you when they think you're crazy. So, and that's why everybody's got to, awaken more spiritually. Now, there's so much stuff I can say to my kids that they did not, they thought I sounded completely crazy. And now that I can say stuff, and they're like, oh, yeah, because it isn't like you have to do anything. The universe is going to force it on people. It's going to force you to wake up. It's going to force you to see things you don't want to see. And, the light's going to keep coming in the room, and there's nothing that anybody can do about it. And so that is why I think, so many of us are out there speaking about how to heal. I think that is why so many of us had to go through it to begin with, so that we could help others, because it's going to be so difficult. It's shocking to me how many people think like they're totally awake. And then you got the woke ones who think they're totally woke. It's like, oh my Lord. They're woke to social justice. The awakened or awakened to government corruption. And then, the spiritual ones, they just become fucking spiritual, not spiritual warriors. They become like spiritual, like they get so in their ego. Like everybody just goes into their ego. So as they're all going through this process, they've just gotten there, and that is where the work comes in. And that is the part that is going to be shown to everybody, is where their ego is, I mean, they show you all the time, like to me, like they're constantly getting me to question like all sorts of stuff, like, all the time. Like, what is your motivation? Like, not because, they're telling me what to do but, when you're doing something, you can lose track. And so you can emotionally, lose track. And so you need to be pulled back in. And so that's what they'll kind of do to me, like a question to keep me on track, to keep me in my lane. So they're always getting me to question things. And so, that is, what I just can see is that when this change happens, whatever it's going to be, like something's going to happen. I know that for sure. Like I've said this the whole time. Something is going to happen that is going to turn us the other direction. And I don't know if it's going to be all these small things is going to keep doing it. I think it's something big, something big is going to cause it to everybody's attention and then turn suddenly. Because I'm telling you, there's a lot of people who don't know anything about other people's storms right now. Don't know about all this devastation and trauma that's happening. And I'm telling you, I'm so weirded out about this. All these people frozen over, what they're doing. They're so unethical, man. It's so sickening. Because literally, how can you fill in the death certificate? How does the coroner say someone's dead when if they're frozen? You would have to. To me, they're changing the rules. Or this is just a new thing in this reality that I'm at or something. This is the way it's always been done. And but to me, you would have to thaw them out. You would have to do CPR on them. And then ethically, to thaw them out, you would have to do it in a process. And they're not going to put all that money into that. And they're not going to put money into it for homeless people, in their funnel system, in the facility that we go to for saving us. They'll do it in an underground lab, 20,000 leagues under the sea. They'll go down there and do it all day long. That's where all our dark money goes, into their fucking shit that they do down there, putting people together, like Frankenstein lab. So Frankenstein lab ran by vampires. Like, it's so weird how I used to watch those movies all the time, and it was fucking real life. Like, god damn, it's mental. But so when you go through all that process, then the more you connect, because to me, all of it isn't like, you don't have to get caught up in what anybody else thinks about with spirituality and religion. I'm fed up with even the whole thing. There's such religion is not God. Religion is a creation to control your relationship with your God. So religion is created to control. So that's not God. I knew it wasn't God from the time I was a little kid. And God, I'm wheezy. So I knew that wasn't God. Like, I don't know. I knew God in my heart. And when they were talking bad about him, saying, that he hated his own creation and shit, I was like, that's some, y'all are lying. Y'all be lying around here. So anyways, but there's no spiritual rules. Like, it's your personal relationship with your spirit, who you believe is in control of this world. Whoever that is. If you think it's a grand, this grand grandpa up there, up in the clouds, and he is overseeing and you're his favorite or whatever. That is your personal relationship. It's how you perceive. It is how you understand your relationship to the universe. And it's up to you to expand past your understanding and think that there is other possibilities, especially when there's so many people talking about it. But, there's no forced one right answer. That's the biggest thing behind spirituality. It doesn't matter what anybody else fucking thinks about. It's your relationship. to how you perceive this world. And so your guides will, the more you pull into self and trust yourself, trust your relationship, trust your guides, trust your discernment, and the more that takes you on your own individual path. So, there isn't, your guides don't want you to be listening to somebody else's guides. You've got your own guides. So they don't need you to do what somebody else's guides tells you to do. So, and you have a lot of those spiritual people out there, who are trying to tell people, you have to do this, you have to do that. And I know, because, I just heard one lady, she was going, she knows all the answers about ascension because she's lived 10,000 other lives here on this planet. She's lived 10,000 other lives in other planets. She's got 10,000 guides because she's a super spirit. And so, she's got all the lowdown. And, come to her for your advice. And then you have, all these people who charge people to come to them because they've got all the lowdown. It's like, you should be telling people that they need to listen to their guides, not listen to your guides. Even on this whole design of what's happening here on the planet, everybody has their own unique situation. There is no set thing that everybody has to do. Even in the healing process, you can have different steps, that you can have different layers, It's all going to be your own individual learning plan, your individual flight plan. So, those people who are saying, come listen to me and stuff like that, that is their own, that is like their ego. And so, because really, I believe we should be telling everybody their guides, your guides are sitting there, waiting for you to listen. And you don't need anybody else's guides to tell you what to do and how to do it. You just have to build that connection. And building that connection makes you feel so much better, because it really is like you have somebody holding your hand through the dark, and you have somebody you can trust always up there waving you in, like which direction to go. And so, I just think that, yeah, when whatever is going to go down, it is going to, we'll know for sure, because it's going to be so going in the other direction. It is not going to be going in the same direction, but there's going to be so much debris. There's going to be so much, healing that has to happen. So there's not going to be like the end of all trauma, but it will be, to me, it will be the banks, the money thing, and the leadership thing. I think those will be significant. And then we'll start being like, I think that these disasters are definitely we're going to start seeing one insurance company after another go bankrupt. And then that's going to go up to other corporations. And one thing that Trump did while he was in there, he set that up. That was the good thing about him being corporate, was he set up the whole thing so they have nowhere to fall. They have no one to save them. So as they all start collapsing, he created like he took the foundation out from under them. So as everything is crashing, they've got nothing to hold on to. And that's been the big thing as all this has been going, because they keep holding on to each other. But it all keeps going. There's nothing, it's like trying to hold on to water. And so they're all running out of anything. And so he's going to collapse them all. And, they have no resources. And their resources become more and more limited the more it goes. It wouldn't surprise me if the White Hats had been, getting cash to run it short or something. That they have been doing something to short it faster, because something has to hurry and push us. But that, anyways, so those two things to me will be when we're going the other direction. And I think that some of us will see a lot of changes in our own life. But I have been seeing a lot of changes come, but they're just like coming slower. But to me, there's going to be like an abrupt about face, and where it's going to be like shocking. It's going to be like that, where everybody's equilibrium is kind of off. And it could be something with the earthquake, a big giant earthquake go and affect a few different states, and huge amounts of people die. And when you hear people talking about LA is like a war zone, it's like, something big's gonna go there. But even driving through California when I was there, just the energy, the people just so willing to speed from thing to thing, and the shallowness of, all they care about, just shallow stuff. Like the ones that I was hearing when I was sitting out on the beach, and I was just like, this is so gross. And then when I was driving, how much chemicals, I couldn't believe it, and how high the towers were turned up. Because every single time I drove past one, my eyes started burning so bad I couldn't believe it. And I was like, man, something's coming here for sure. And it's just the energy. It's what has to happen. The places that are the darkest, there has to be light that has to come in. And so, that could be the big impactful thing. I don't know, especially when my brother, in that Christmas thing, when my mom said something about weather, and then my brother was like, 77 here in sunny California. I was like, man, okay, Laura Linney. I swear, that's how I just see people now, of being just so representative of the system. It's just like, oh man. When things go the other direction, see, there's all these people who are going to they're going to truly have to wake up, like on a spiritual level, because that is the main thing. And this is going to be, that is why, a lot of people already are, with just the traumas and stuff they're going through. And some people are sick themselves, all having those, come to Jesus moments. So, that is already happening for a lot of people, but there's going to be where there's a whole bunch at once. But that is also happening in big groups. And that is part of what they're doing. But how it is happening is that those groups are having a lot of people awaken spiritually through the trauma, And so, everything that they're doing is backfiring, because there's nothing that they can do. And I see people stressing and stressing and stressing. It's like everything they're going to do is going to backfire. And the absurdity, like I mean, there was something, Joe did some speech, and I saw somebody doing this whole breakdown, going through all his lies and stuff like that. And, that guy's going down, but look at how much energy, see, people are putting into that instead of putting into themselves, because they're not trusting that this is all going to go down. But when you understand about energy and change and cycles and stuff, then there's no way around it. It's definitely going down. And then I can't sit here and just stress and stress and stress about it every second of the day. I mean, to me, I just am like, the tediousness of the slowness of it, that is a lot to me. But then, but all these people who think they're so awakened and awoken and all of that, they still have all of this. I always think of it as the dark night of the soul kind of thing that they have to go through. So they still have to go through this, facing so many things, and that is so hard. and they're all so focused on other things. So, I mean, I know that there is some people out there that really get like it's all about the healing, and they're doing it. And I think that's because they're going to be also helping other people. Because seriously, from what I see on social media, there's not like they get all awakened like that they are superior, and then the woke ones, they get all superior about their, and then the ones that do become more spiritually awakened, they become like the super spirit, like all in ego. It's just like so much ego still. And that is what is, that's the balance that you have to come into for mind, body, spirit. You have to get balance with the ego, because this society is so ego driven, and it is like the creation of narcissism. And so, people have a lot of stuff to have to deal with. I think, to me, I think people have more to deal with the shitty things they've done than the shitty things that have been done to them. My personal opinion. But, I mean, we'll see. Everybody's got different things that are going to play out. But a lot of people had shitty things happen to them, and then they just turned into total dicks and were just shitty to everybody. And so those are the things that are going to be the hardest things to get over. And so, anyways, that is what all of this, to me, over the next few years, really. So when this traumatic event happens, and then all of those people wake up and we start going in the other direction with money and stuff, then it's going to be more and more coming out. I guess Twitter just releases things nonstop. And I just saw an interview where they were talking to Elon, and he said that they were going to keep on going. There's more. He said, there's not a single conspiracy theory that has not been proven true at this point. And he said that the interviewer was saying, well, what did you find the most disturbing? And he said how much the FBI was, how much they were doing and stuff. Like, there's such government overstep on all of this stuff, and so corrupt. And, I was one of the people who, from that moment, I've been shadow banned through this whole thing, so that to me is going to be the biggest thing when the shift happens, is I'm not going to be shadow banned anymore. That to me is when I'm going to be going the other direction, is when that's lifted. So, to me, I don't know when that's going to happen, but that to me will be when my life is really going in the other direction, when that's lifted. And so, that, but then as people are processing and stuff, that's going to be taking down medical, definitely the food plants and stuff. Like some of the stuff that they have put up and wasted money, just like last year when I saw that they were adding on to the hospitals and stuff, and me knowing like this is all going away. Like I don't even think people are going to be living in the cities to use them to house people. I think that they are going to be giving away so much land and supplies for building. Maybe they'll give house kits away. I don't know. But there's going to be such a huge thing of giving back to the people, the God-given, everybody, you have a God-given right to shelter and to your own space. And so that is going to be, to me, where it's going to be given back. Nobody's going to be like, well, let's go turn the hospital into a hotel, like, or something. I think so many cities, just like that kid and that mom, when she said that how they exploded out, and she said that when they came back, that everything was grown over. All the cities had like ivy over them, just like what they show in the movies. I think they show them in the movies because it's already the truth. They already know it's the truth. So I think the cities are going to become overgrown. So it's just more waste of not even just money, because it's all fake, but it's the resources. It's the destruction that they do on the planet all the time. And I just saw this one guy talking about the corporate farms of soybeans and how it kills way more animals than the animals that are killed for their meat. that they kill way more just to do the corporate farming with the soil. And so they kill all the squirrels, and there can be like a huge amount of animals for soybeans. And so people who, are all strict vegetarian and stuff, it's the corporate food. It has nothing to do with, it's your relationship to the food. Like, we should not have ever been having someone else do our food. That was the wrong way to go in society. And now we're being shown why it was wrong. Somebody got control. They cut corners. They put in a bunch of toxins. Then they put people in lobbyist positions to get laws passed and put people in CEO positions so that they could format this whole construct against us, assault on our health. And so now, that's going to be revealed, and the people doing it and all of the tentacles that they had running through the system. So all of that being revealed will take down, the medical. And so that'll be going down. There'll be so many things that are all going to be falling apart as this goes. Like, so many people will be losing jobs and stuff. And then they'll be distraught, like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And they're not going to see like, oh, you just lost that because this whole system is falling apart. So now you're open to go make really big choices for yourself. Like yesterday when I went and got that windshield, I was like, fuck, man, what a smart thing these guys have done. I think it might have been a dad and a son, but it could have been two friends. They just had this one little shop, one little garage thing, and some machines. And then every hour they do one windshield, and it's like $400 to $800 or something for a windshield. I saw a lot of people were coming in getting prices, and I saw one guy with a Lexus. His was just a sedan. It was almost $700 for the windshield, and he was coming back on Monday. So I was like, man, these guys, smart. Just what a smart thing right there. A need that needs to be done. They don't push themselves. They've got good income. They obviously provide. I got them referred to me from somebody who was happy with their service. And so, they build a reputation. And that's what people have to see, the independence, that you can build your own. But you have to see what is the need of society. There's a whole thing to using you as your business plan. But, when people start losing their jobs and stuff, it's going to throw them into full crisis. And as the system is falling apart and they are, all the life in the world, and this is so horrible, and if they don't have any connection to their spirit, then, if they're connecting to their spirit will be telling them, hey, no, just think about this for a minute. Let's look at this. And, we're getting you ready for something way better. It just depends on how someone spins out in their own thoughts and emotions, because your emotions and your thoughts get interlinked and you can totally spin out. And so it's going to be all about how people can process, but mostly I think it's going to push people into their whole healing process. And so a lot of people are not even going to get to that other part. Like, they have to go through all that healing and rebuilding to get the direction in their life that they're going to go. So they have to go through this sense of loss. They're going to lose their jobs, whatever. There's going to be tons, because all these different businesses, most people, like all these businesses, are owned by corporations. They set this system up to be like this. They ran out the mom and pop shops, all of those little places that are closed down. And so now everybody works for, structured corporations and industry. And so all of those different places are going to cause people to lose their jobs, and it's all going to be doing at the same time. Like, I don't know how all of the the different things with the recessions and stuff, but everything is going to keep collapsing. The airlines are going to, like, all the different things. And, it's going to be a process, but it is going to, when we turn the other direction, that's going to really accelerate all those things to start falling, because it's the energy. And when we turn the other direction, that is going to be like the lights come on, like it's going to be like boom. That is what I think. That's how I have seen it. That's how I've seen it since the beginning. So, and I still think that we are super close. Like the Buffalo storm and Oklahoma, like there's so many places that were really, really devastated in this storm. And so many, like animals and right now, when I was feeding the birds, they were coming up, hitting my windows. I was going out, they were sitting out there singing to me. And then that rain started, and I haven't seen any. And now I've only seen one squirrel. And one thing too with the squirrels, there was some real fluffy-tailed ones, and then there was one for sure. It could have been two. Their tail was so scrawny, like a cancer patient with their hair all falling out. And and I don't know if Stella is struggling hard, but I am just detoxing her nonstop. I'm doing parasite things. I'm doing more zeolite. And last night, man, she was up all motherfucking night. Oh my fucking God, I couldn't believe it. And my bed is so comfortable. I did take off that, as I took it off, and then I got down to the skin of I was like, oh, it's kind of like a bed condom. And I was like, I'll go natural. And so it's so much more comfortable too. What a waste of money that plastic sheath was. But I was like, well, I'm going to keep it because moving, like if I ever had to move a mattress, that thing's perfect. Like it's encased. But she is so struggling. And, without those animals being able to detox in the way that they are just coming in and killing nature as fast as they can. Like, and how much nature has been killed. And even when I hear about the developers and then knowing right there where they are, and they have not fucking stopped, this motherfucker. That one house down there that completely stopped. And I still don't think this one's sold. I still think that is someone staying there that is kind of overseeing the house. I don't know. I don't know. But the other one, they haven't even finished. I mean, they got half the siding on and it's still sitting there all through whatever 6 months. That has got to be a money thing. So, and I've seen other weird money things going on. So, I saw a realtor even talking about how disgusted she is when she's going around trying to help people get these houses. She said that these flippers buy them for like $85,000. They go in and do some shoddy work, and then they turn around and sell them for almost 3 times the amount. She said it's disgusting, especially when it's these first-time home buyers. But see, that's the thing, is all the disgustingness is going to keep showing, and people have participated into this disgustingness all throughout our society. It's inside people. And it depends on your pain and stuff, like where you are, where your soul, are you listening to your soul, or are you just, being reactive in society? And so that is, that's why I said a lot of people have got a lot of stuff to have to work through in this process, and it's going to be super hard. And, but, just seeing over there with the developers, what they're doing to nature. And then I saw that video of that guy showing that up close and how much that they fucking kill. And then those corporate farms, they just murder, murder, murder. They don't care about anything. Like, this planet will be such a, and even if they do put some of the cities under mud, it will be better. Like, we want the earth to go back to, its beauty and stuff. And however it's going to go, I mean, it's all a simulation anyways. And I had even heard before there's going to be something with the simulation all of a sudden went off and we're in the dark and then it came back on. That would shock some people awake. Like, I don't know what all's going to go down on this reset. But I know that we are definitely surrounded. Like, are those ships all coming to take people? Are things going to happen faster? Or are they going to sit up there for years? Are they going to come down and start talking to it? Like, I don't know. Like, and there's so much stuff also with the Project Bluebeam. Like, are they just putting hologram illusions up in the sky just to distract people. Because, you know, all they got to do is, you know, a shiny thing and everybody's distracted. And then they just keep doing criminal shit. So, I don't know. But, oh, I've been talking a lot. Anyways, I didn't even know what I was going to talk about. So, I don't know. I guess I'm done talking. So, hopefully that helped somebody. Like I said, like I think at some point, the censorship thing, especially after I was just listening to that Elon thing and knowing, you know, mine went down, my shadow ban started all in 2020, even to the point, like, I still don't know, like, what the Secret Service has to do with it and how much, you know, that restricts me. But once that is all lifted, then I think it's going to be moving much faster in a different direction to me. But I can feel things speeding up already. Like, I can feel, like, it's weird. It's like every single day. Today I'm really excited what I'm going to do today. So I'm not starting my paintings. I'm going to start that tomorrow, I think. But I'm going to do a bunch of baking. I'm going to make chocolate covered almonds. I'm going to make some of that Christmas crack stuff. I'm going to make some peanut butter chocolate chip cookies. I'm going to make some chocolate chip almond biscotti. And I'm going to make some big pretzels, some cinnamon ones. And, oh, I should give them some little, I'm going to make a big pretzel, a cinnamon one, and a seed one. And then, ooh, maybe some roasted garlic on it. That might be good. Maybe some cheese or something. I don't know. It's fun to do. So I'm going to make some stuff like that. And then each of my neighbors, I'm going to give, not each of my neighbors, the one across the street and the one on each side of me. They all gave me presents too. I mean, they all gave me presents. And you know, one thing that has really been standing out to me everywhere I go, like, people are just so freaking nice. You know, like, nothing against any of the people that, you know, that I feel like I need to be out of this place. People are all so nice. Like, oh my gosh, just nice. They may not, you know, have government suspicion and, you know that aliens are real and stuff like that, but they're all, you know, nice people. So, anyways, that just keeps standing out to me. I was like, man, I gotta say that because I don't want to come across as like, oh, everybody's just, you know, because I've said it so many times, this is a zombie red zone, and people are just so willing to accept things and stuff that to me I'm not willing to accept. But anyways, you know, who knows what's going to happen so much with communities. Like, I don't even know out here because of what they're doing over there. I mean, I think that people are going to be going further out, and the water is going to be coming up. And I don't know how far up, and that is going to cover up, you know, a lot of cities and stuff will be underwater. Like, it's really weird to think about, like, New York or Seattle and LA or something being all underwater, San Francisco, Houston, Louisiana. Like, I don't know what would be with Dallas, but there would be a lot of cities. I don't know, but this, you know, it's all going to be going slow still anyways. So it seems like, you know, but it's going to have to go somewhat faster because I don't know, like, there's just so much, going on. But I do think that we're going to start seeing, you know, I think that we're going to start seeing things really pop off and see how, you know, how we're going to start maneuvering through some of this stuff, you know, with everybody waking up. So we'll see. Hopefully I finished saying all the stuff I was going to say. Now I feel like I don't remember if I finished what I was just talking about. Oh yeah, because I was going to do all this baking today. So I'm so excited. So I've got all these recipes and stuff in mind that I'm going to go in and bake. So I'm really excited. And then I love to give stuff, but I haven't had any time. It seems like I've just been crocheting in my hands need a break anyways. And so I'm going to do that. And I'm going to do my paintings. And I don't know. Just see what goes down. See what happens next. At least I got food and water. I've got some gas. And my windshield's fixed. And I got to just keep working on Stella feeling better. Like, it sucks, man. I know it's that. And she keeps going out and eating that motherfucking ice. It's just ice. And she keeps going out. She loves it. Oh, I know that's what is making her sick. Oh, so aggravating. Okay, well, I'll talk to you later. Bye.